Could you say your name and then where on the Fairbanks campus you're based?
Yeah, sure. My name's John Elliott. I work for Mark Condi at the Geophysical Institute. It's on West Ridge, the west side of the University of Alaska Fairbanks.
And you talk a little, you're studying wind in the, what is the level of the atmosphere where you're studying it?
Yeah, so I study thermospheric winds, which is the winds quite a bit higher than you fly. It's about where the ISS space station orbits. So we're studying the neutral winds up there.
There are winds that high up.
Yeah. There's this is something interesting that we study at the Geophysical Institute. There are actually pretty strong winds, sometimes upwards of 50, 75 meters a second type winds.
That's pretty exciting. So the astronauts, they get buffeted around by the winds up there?
They're technically a little higher, just a little higher than we're measuring.
I'm letting myself get distracted.
Yeah.
So you use equipment that's all sky scanning equipment that's based all around Alaska?
Yeah. So Mark Condi has got a network of 4 of these devices called Fabry-Perot interferometers. We have an all-sky implementation of them. So a typical instrument like this will look in one direction up at the sky at 250 kilometers altitude and tell us whether the sky is moving towards or away from us. Mark's instrument will actually look 115 different look directions from one instrument at one time. And we have 4 of those set up over Alaska. We have one in Kaktovik, one in Toolik Lake, one at Poker Flat Research Range, and we have one at Eagle, Alaska as well, on the Canadian border.
That's incredible. And I did get a chance to hear you doing your poster presentation to a couple of people and talking to a person that inspired your work. That is pretty exciting to see.
It's really exciting for me to come here and talk to Brian Harding, who's a colleague of mine. He actually wrote the paper that started me on my research. Mark Condi was talking to me about this work, handed me Brian's paper. I thought it was brilliant, and so I started working on it, and then I got to meet Brian, and we started talking together, and we have developed quite a bit more since then as far as thermospheric wind inversions go.
Now on your poster there's some it's complicated math for me and some computer science work that you've done, but basically what I understand is you can now pretty accurately model how the wind is going to behave at that level of the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's still work in development, but we are really closing in on some of the finer structure effects in the thermosphere. The thermosphere is an unknown region for the most part in our atmosphere. We don't know a lot about what's going on up there. Mark and several others have been doing a lot of work to figure out what's going on, but it's hard to measure 250 kilometers altitude from the ground with lots of resolution. And what we're finally able to do with such a big network is we are able to see things on a smaller scale than is typically available to other people using the same method. It's actually really exciting if you're into this this type of stuff.
How is it being at the Geophysical Institute? Is it a benefit for this work? Is this only going on there, or is there other places that are going? Why the GI for you?
Yeah, so there are several other places that are doing this type of research, not on the level that we are here. We are particularly doing quite a bit of work in this field with Mark and his all-sky implementations. The support network for the research done at the Geophysical Institute is very attractive to somebody who's trying to get into this field. We have some top-notch researchers. We have world-class research going on in this area, and people who are absolute professionals in the field. So I guess, I mean, you could do it at other locations and you'll do it fine. The University of Alaska Fairbanks is a very good spot, though, if you want to be with some of the best.
And then the last thing I want to ask you about is a little hint of where your work may be going, which I heard you want to find out if the aurora actually causes wind.
Yeah, so this is, some people are surprised to find out that there is wind up at these altitudes, up at 250 kilometers. We are a little surprised sometimes to find out too that there's potentially what we call Joule heating occurring up at this altitude. It turns out that the auroral activity, the mechanisms that cause the aurora, actually are probably dropping some heat energy in the thermosphere and causing these winds to show up. And so we think that actually the auroral processes are causing winds up in the thermosphere, and we would like to measure that from the ground all over Alaska.
Is that why the aurora goes all ripply? Is it because it's windy up there and blowing around like a ribbon?
It's a different...
No, I know. Thank you very much for taking some time to talk to me about it. Congratulations on being down here, and we'll talk more as we go on.
Cool, thank you very much.
Thanks.